Hi there guys, today we're looking at the butterfly position. Remember there's two parts to the butterfly position, a defensive and an offensive part. We're going to look at the offensive part, which is on the bottom. From the bottom, the first thing we're going to understand is what are our options, what can we do? We can sweep, our primary goal. We can take the back, or we can transition into an alternative guard or pursue a submission along that particular line. Sweep, take the back, or transition into an alternative position that will provide us submitting opportunities. First thing we're looking at will be a basic over-under sweep from the butterfly guard, and thereafter a very basic double under position into the back position. First we're going to look at the fundamentals of the butterfly guard position. The fundamentals of the butterfly guard position being is we've got our feet hooked in between the opponent's hammies. Those have to be active, those can't be loose. We can't allow the guy on top to have free reign on our feet. Most of our opportunities from the butterfly guard occur when we are able to sit up, when we are on our butt, because then we have a few options into which way we can manipulate the opponent's body weight and position him in a place that gives us an opportunity to attack or transition. If we're flat on our back and the person is on top of us in our butterfly guard, our opportunities are greatly reduced. So rule number one, try and be seated when you're operating an effective butterfly guard. The butterfly guard works very much with our upper half as it does with our lower half. Try not to only use your arms and forget about your legs, and vice versa. Let both your limbs, both pairs of your limbs work together. The lower half of our body, the actual hooks, helps us to control the opponent's waist and their hips. The upper half, our overhooks and our underhooks, helps us to control the chest area and the shoulders of their opponent. Now, putting yourself in an effective position to actually begin a series of techniques is important in the butterfly guard position. How would I position myself? So when I'm in butterfly guard, right, I've got my feet interlaced on the inside of the opponent's hammies. I may choose to go for a double under control or an over under control. Let's start with the over under control. In the over under control, my hand that comes over the tricep is the overhook. My hand that comes under the far side armpit is the underhook. Now these two arms in conjunction with one another will always help me to manipulate his posture in one or two directions. I will always try and push him into my overhook side. Most of our sweeps will occur on the side of the dominant overhook. The next is our legs. Our legs are going to give us the ability to move the opponent's body weight, either left or right, forward and back, as well as elevate their hips. All of these general movements will give me an opportunity down the line to pursue an effective technique. One way I can manipulate the opponent is by pushing him to the side. If I put my bum in and if I collapse, I can very easily offset the opponent's balance from left to right. I can also push the person away or pull them in with my hooks. Okay, if I was flat on my back and I wanted to sit up, I could extend my shins into his quads to help me push him away and create space for me to then sit up. Another opportunity that can be given to me by using both my arms and my legs is the ability to elevate your opponent. By elevating them, I could pull my bum in, I could rock back, extend my legs, and push with my arms. That ability to elevate also opens up opportunities to attack the legs or transition into alternative positions. So understand where you can actually go in the butterfly. I can go forward or back, I can go left or right, or I can elevate the opponent. Each of these directions gives me a different avenue to attack. The first thing we're going to look at is the over-under sweep from the butterfly position, and thereafter we're going to look at a very basic back take from the butterfly utilizing high double under control. So the first technique, guys, is our butterfly sweep, the over-under position. When we're in the over-under position, one thing I want to bear in mind is I'm going to be putting maximum force on my overhook, and that's the side I'm going to sweep him. I want to give us a bit of space between my butt and his legs. I don't want to sit too close, because the closer my butt is, the less space I have to generate momentum, which is going to aid me in being able to sweep him. So we want to keep a little gap here. Strong on the overhook, and I want to have a nice flare on the underhook. Before the technique is actually put into place, I can have my head on the collarbone itself, just to keep that space open. I'll show you why in a second. When we're ready to actually sweep, my head will slide out to the top, my hips will come in, I will collapse onto my left side. My far leg is doing a big crescent kick to get the opponent's weight to be pushed to my overhook side. And because we're heavy on his actual arm on the overhook, he's not going to be able to effectively base, thereby giving us the sweep. Make sure, guys, when you're sweeping that you flare your underhook hand as much as you can to get his body to move. Don't just rely on only your legs, and don't just rely on only your hands. Some people may even use their bottom leg to push into the mat to generate power to get the sweep. That doesn't always have to be the case. There are times where you can simply use momentum, pull your bump all the way in, your heels can both pull him towards you, and then cut that angle with a big crescent kick to get the sweep. Bearing in mind you're heavy on the overhook and you're flaring on the underhook. Try and maintain control of the arm when you do actually complete the sweep. A good overhook can go a long way in the dominant top position, whereby we can set up alternative submissions. So don't just let the arm go once you've got the actual sweep. The movement without an actual person, it would be my butt scooting in, my collapsing onto my overhook side, flaring on the underhook, and making a big U to shift his weight over. That is a very basic over-under butterfly sweep. There are a lot of modifications to that. One of those modifications being I can use my outside leg to either push on the knee or even sweep out the knee as if I was doing a hybrid scissor sweep. So in the over-under position, what I could do is as I'm hitting the sweep, pull this leg out, place it on the outside. As my butt comes in, the leg's gonna cut through and aid me in being able to sweep him. So we're doing effectively the same thing but with the leg on the outside, aiding me in the position to sweep and kick at the same time. An alternative technique we could use on the same platform is taking our foot and kicking out the opponent's knee as we do the actual sweep. So those are the two basic variations, kicking out the knee or cutting it across as you're doing your over-under sweep. Now working our way to the back. The easiest way to get to the back from a double under position is to get our grip nice and high on the base of the opponent's neck so their arms are kind of waving in the air, immobilizing them to any effective techniques. We're thereby going to shift our body weight to either underhook side, right? Primarily the head side. So my head's to my left, I'm going to go with my left underhook. I won't have my head to the left with his head between my other far underhook and then try and take the back on the far side. Where my head's placed is where I'll exit for the back. We're transitioning from a butterfly to a temporary half guard, high on that actual trap with our underhook hand as we exit to the rear and take the top back or turtle position. So first thing is first, right? I'm in the butterfly, I want to get a high grip, connect my fingers right at the base of his neck. I can again use my head on his collarbone to keep the space. When I'm ready to go, I'm shucking him away from me and I'm pulling my butt out to my head side. Okay, I'm not going to go for the back take on the far side. As my butt comes up, my underhook hand's reaching across for his far trap. My shoulder will point into his tricep to mitigate the actual chance that he's going to whizzer my hand. Any good guy will immediately look for that whizzer. An alternative way to the back is utilizing the shoulder crunch. Notice as I do the back take, I pass his hand across my face. I lock that shoulder in place with both my hands. My ear has to be glued to behind his shoulder because the first thing he's going to try and do is pull his hand free. My hand on the underhook side will then immediately reach for his far trap or his lap, whatever's more accessible. And I'm going to pull my way around. Some guys will see the back take coming and I'm going to immediately try and take their back to the mat. If we're not quick enough to take the back, we're going to take the top position. Okay guys, so we're going to now look to take the back from a shoulder crunch position. The shoulder crunch position, we're initiating from an underhook and an overhook. Again, a nice high grip. I'm going to isolate one shoulder. Once I've isolated that shoulder, I'm going to crunch down on it and I'm going to straighten the guy's body out and pull him towards me. As I straighten his body out, I'm going to pass that hand over my head and work my way to the back. I'm going to grab his far trap or his lat first and help that pulling me into the back position. Some guys are going to be antsy as they feel you grab that far trap or lat. Immediately they'll take their back to the mat, whereby giving up top position. If we're quick enough, we're going to pull ourselves through and lock our back into place. So we're going to go from an over-under position. We're going to pull the opponent towards us. We're going to crunch on their shoulder. Once we've crunched on their shoulder, we're then going to work our way out the back by utilizing a shoulder crunch. So when I'm in the butterfly position, right, I was able to get an over and underhook grip. From here, I want to keep my grip again nice and high, right at the base of his neck. In this position, what I'm going to then do is get my shoulder on the underhook side as deep as I can. I want to take my hand that's on the overhook side and bring it across the head, biting down, a gable grip, cutting hard against his shoulder. I want to have the palm of my inside hand facing towards me. From this position, I'm going to collapse to my inside, I'm going to flare my elbow and then work my way out to this particular angle. Don't forget to put into play your 90-degree rule as much as you can. First thing is first, secure the grip, an overhook and an underhook, nice and high, right? From here, I'm going to pass my far hand, the overhook hand over his shoulder, and I'm going to clamp down hard on his shoulder. Have my shoulder deep under his arm. I'm now going to straighten his body out. I'm going to fall to my back, but at an angle, leaning inwards, opening up a pathway from the underhook side to the back, grabbing the far trap. Notice as I begin to take the back, I'm gluing my ear to the side or the back of his shoulder to prevent him from being able to pull his arm free easily. Once we're here, we're going to pull him onto us and stretch his body out. I keep this tight as I pass the hand across my face. And I keep my ear glued up against his shoulder. I'm biting down with my hands, they're pulling into his shoulder. My forehand immediately is reaching for the far lat or the trap. From here, the leg comes out. I put it into play for the 90-degree rule. I then pull myself onto my elbow. And once I pull myself onto my elbow, I'm going to reverse towards his hip and immediately look to secure the seatbelt and then work towards my back. And there you have it, guys. 3 very simple techniques from the butterfly guard position. Number 1 is sweep and over under with 2 variations. Number 2, a back take utilizing double underhooks. And number 3, a back take using a strong shoulder crunch. Remember guys, our opportunities come from cutting angles in the butterfly position and the ability to control the distance between our hips and his and having the actual decision on our part on when we want to close that distance to generate momentum to either sweep, submit, or open up an opportunity to take the back. Your options are severely limited once he pulls your heels to your butt and flattens your back onto the mat. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and there'll be a next video coming very soon. Thank you, Rafi.